Okay, with the soundboard joined, we're going to make a final decision here on which side's the front and what's going to be the back. And I'm just going to go ahead and mark them so there won't be any confusion at all. This is going to be the back side. This will be the front. Now I'm going to do most of the work on the back side. And here I'm going to use the templates that we did in the first video. I'm just going to mark out the shape of the guitar. All the way around, including the cutout. And you can see the lines I've got here. And then I just take a coping saw and carefully cut that out. Now I'm just going to lightly hold this down. And I'm going to take some 60 grit sandpaper and just a pretty wide block. Get a block that's about as large and as wide as you can comfortably hold. And I'm just going to start sanding this down and smoothing out the top. We're not doing a lot of thicknessing here. This is just to get everything sort of leveled out so we can do the work of the rosette and the sound hole. And now when I go to the back side, I'll actually start with a plane. Now you can see I'm taking some very thin shavings off here. You're not trying to remove a lot of material at once. And then I'll go back in with the 60 grit sandpaper and remove any marks from the plane. And at this point we're trying to get a pretty uniform thickness. This is probably around 0.14 inches is what we're looking for. That's a little thicker than the finished size will be. And now I'm going to take the side assembly and I'm lining it up with the joint on the top, and I'm just marking where the very top of the guitar is going to be. This way we have an accurate mark to measure the distance to the sound hole. Just make sure that mark's in the right spot. Double check your measurements. And I'm going to take the rosette and we're going to measure the exact diameter of the circle. And you want to mark it off where it's going to be there around the sound hole. And now these marks will be used to set the router when we route the groove for the rosette to fit in. Now I actually use a Dremel with a router base. I found this actually works very well for the small things that you're doing on a guitar. And now I actually had to drill a little hole in the base and use a nail to mark the center of the hole and have something to move the router around. The base on this router was actually a little larger than what I needed, so a regular router would definitely be larger than what you need. And I'm not trying to do it all in one pass again. You want to go probably about half the thickness of the top. You don't want to get very deep here at all. And now I've routed the outside circle for the rosette. And then next you just want to remove this material in the middle so that you've got a nice flat surface to glue the rosette into. Then I actually just use some super glue. Make sure that my circles are right and the rosette fits, and glue it in place. And now before we do that, we'll go ahead and cut the hole for the sound hole. Again, just slowly work your way through. Don't try to cut it out all at once. And then we'll glue the rosette in place. And then I'll take some 60 grit paper and our block. And make sure your block's wide enough and long enough that you can go over the rosette with it. And I basically just want to sand this down to where it's smooth with the top. And then I'll take the block and just do a final sanding over the whole surface to make sure everything's flush. Okay, and now I'm going to start working on the back side again. I'm just going to do some basic sanding with the 60 grit block. And the wider the block is, the better you're going to be at keeping it uniform. And what I want is a final thickness here. I'm shooting for about a 0.10 or a 0.11. So just keep measuring. Measure around the guitar, including the sound hole. Make sure that you're uniform across the length of the top. Again, continue doing this till you're nice and uniform and you're in that 0.10 to 0.11 range. And then your soundboard should be nice and flexible.